guys? It's Richie here with Saturday Primetime Football. This is your Week 9, your primetime CFB game. College football games are like 10 of them or so let's jump into it. Boston College and Clemson. Boston College is coming off a 45-24 win over North Carolina State. They ran for 429 yards. A.J. Dillon, 223 and 3 touchdowns rushing. David Bailey, 181 rushing and 2 touchdowns. The defense did have a pick 6 in that game. Clemson killed Louisville 45-10, but it's kind of close early on. Trevor Lawrence made too many mistakes. He passed for 233 and 3 touchdowns, but he threw 2 interceptions. Travis Etienne went off for 192 and a touchdown. They did have 551 yards, but they did have the 2 turnovers. Defense, though, did have 6 sacks, 3 turnovers, and only allowed 263 yards. I'm going to put Clemson on upset alert here. Boston College, they can go off at any time. They got good running backs. If they can get that running game going, and that defense is usually solid, if they make some mistakes against Clemson, I think Boston College can make them pay a little bit. They can keep it away from the Clemson offense with that running game. I'm going to go with Clemson to win, but I think this might be a lot closer than people think. Clemson is favored by 34.5. There's no fucking way they're going to win by that much. Like, Boston College will keep it probably within 10 or so. Notre Dame's coming off a bye. Their last game was a 30-27 win over USC. Ian Book was solid, 165, 1 touchdown, plus 49 rushing yards and a touchdown. Tony Jones went off for 176 yards rushing. They ran for 308 as a team. Defense had 4 sacks in that game. Michigan, they lost 28-21 last week to Penn State. Shea Patterson, not great, 276, but he threw a pick, and he did run for a touchdown. I'm going to go Notre Dame here. Michigan's defense is good. Their offense fucking sucks. Notre Dame's offense is actually pretty good. Book can go off at any time. So I'm going to go Notre Dame. Should be close, kind of, but I'm going to go Notre Dame. All right, Arizona State and UCLA. Arizona State's coming off a 21-3 loss to Utah. They didn't get anything going on offense. Jaden Daniels, 4 of 18. That's under 25% for 25 yards a pick. Benjamin had a good game, 104 rushing yards, but their offense totaled only 136 total yards. They turned it over twice. Whereas the defense did force 4 turnovers, and they'll have to do that again against UCLA. UCLA has been really up and down. They're only 2-5, but I mean their offense is. When Dorian Thompson-Robinson's in, he does pretty well. And last week they beat Stanford 34-16. Thompson-Robinson 192 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, plus 66 rushing yards and a touchdown. Joshua Kelly was awesome, 176 rushing yards and a touchdown. Kyle Phillips had a really good game, 10 catches, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Their defense had 7 sacks in that game, 5 in the first quarter, and only allowed 198 yards. I think this will be a pretty good game. Arizona State's defense is good, and their offense at least this year, has shown a lot of potential. I think Arizona State should win this, but it'll be pretty close, closer than people think. Yeah, I mean Arizona State's only picked by 4, and that's about right. But I'll go Arizona State. Okay, Colorado State and Fresno State in the Mountain West. Colorado State's coming off a bye. The last game was a 35-21 win over New Mexico. Patrick O'Brien was great, 420 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. They had 2 guys go over 100 receiving yards. Warren Jackson, 9 catches, 214 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Dante Wright, 5 receptions for 105 yards. They put up 551 yards of offense. They turned it over twice. And their defense forced 3 turnovers. Fresno beat UNLV 56-27. Jorge Reyna, 229 passing, 1 touchdown pass, plus 47 rushing yards and a touchdown. They ran for 260 yards as a team. Their defense forced 5 turnovers and had a fumble return for a touchdown. I think this will be pretty close. Fresno's favored by 14. That's about right. Colorado State, they're capable of scoring on anybody at any time, and this could be a bit of a shootout. I'm going to give Fresno the edge, but this might come down to the end. I can see like a 38-35, 43-40 kind of pretty relatively high-scoring game, pretty close game. All right, Missouri and Kentucky. Missouri was upset last week by Vanderbilt, 21-14. Kelly Bryant, not very good, 13-26, 140, 1 touchdown pass, 1 interception, added 72 rushing yards. In Kentucky, they lost 21-0 to Georgia, although it was 0-0 until like halfway through the third quarter in a rainstorm. Lynn Bowden, their quarterback, who was a receiver turned quarterback, he was 2 of 15 for 17 yards, but he did run for 99. They ran for 160 as a team. Their defense only allowed 270. I think this will be pretty close. Kentucky's been able to they can run it pretty decently. Their defense isn't bad, but I think Missouri overall is a better offense, especially after last week against Vanderbilt. Kelly Bryant, I think he's a good quarterback. I'm going to say Missouri wins in what should be a pretty close game. All right, Louisiana Tech taking on UTEP. Louisiana Tech They beat Southern Miss, big win for them, 45-30. Jamar Smith, 325 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, plus 1 rushing. Justin Henderson ran for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Malik Stanley had 8 receptions for 212 yards and a touchdown. Their defense forced 4 turnovers. They had a pick 6, and Mick Robertson had 3 interceptions himself. Whereas UTEP lost 32-17 to FIU. They only had 283 total yards and 10 penalties. I don't think this is going to be very close. I think Louisiana Tech will blow them out. All right, a big defensive battle, big game in the Pac-12 with Cal and Utah. Cal, they lost 21-17 to Oregon State. Devin Monster wasn't great, 12 of 27, 151, 1 passing touchdown, plus 76 rushing yards. The defense had 5 sacks and they only allowed 282, which isn't bad, but they still lost. Utah beat in a basically defensive struggle against Arizona State. They beat them 21-3. Tyler Huntley wasn't great, 171 passing, 1 pick, added 32 rushing yards. Zach Moss was pretty much their offense. He ran for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. They did turn over 4 times. Cal is one of the best defenses in the country. Actually, both defenses are some of the best in the country. And Cal can force some turnovers, so if they do that, maybe they can get it going and win a little bit. Utah's defense had 3 sacks, 2 turnovers, and only allowed 136. I think this will be a defensive game, very close. I can see like a 17-14, 21-20, 21-20, maybe 23-20 kind of win. I'll give Utah the edge just because it's in Utah. Utah is favored by 19. I think that's way too high. I don't think they're giving Cal enough credit for their defense. Cal, I'm going to put Utah on upset alert. Cal can win this game, but I'll go with Utah to edge them out. All right, should be a high-scoring game in the Mountain West. Utah State and Air Force. Utah State blew out Nevada 36-10. Jordan Love didn't really have a very good game. He was only 13-31, 169, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Gerald Bright ran for 126 and 2 touchdowns and ran for 244 as a team. Their defense had 3 sacks, 2 turnovers, and they returned a kickoff for a touchdown. Reserve Force went out to the islands of Hawaii and killed them, 56-26. Donald Hammond, their quarterback, he played a little bit, then he got hurt, and the backup Mike Schmidt went off. They don't pass a lot, but he was 5 of 6 for 147 passing yards and a touchdown, and added 120 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Timothy Jackson ran for 113 yards and a touchdown, and Gerard Sanders, for good measure, had 3 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown. They ran for 353 as a team, 522 total yards. Their defense had 4 sacks, 4 turnovers. They did have a pick 6. It was like one of the fucking best pick 6s, weirdest. It like bounced off a guy like 4 times while he was on the ground, and his buddy got it and ran 92 yards for a touchdown. It was crazy cool. This is going to be a really interesting game in the Mountain West. Both Utah State's 3-0 in conference, and Air Force is 3-1 in conference. I'm kind of going back and forth here. Air Force, man, they got that option going. I'm going to go Air Force. I'm going to give the edge to the Air Force. All right, Pac-12 games, shootout galore. Washington State going to Oregon. Washington State beat Colorado 41-10. Anthony Gordon put up numbers like he does. 369 passing, 4 touchdown passes. Max Borghi ran for 105 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Arconato had 109 receiving yards and a touchdown. They put up 497 total yards, and their defense did force 3 turnovers. For Oregon, awesome game against Washington. Shootout, awesome comeback. They beat Washington 35-31. Justin Herbert, 280 passing yards, 4 touchdown passes. They put up 434 total yards. It sucks for me because I actually really like both of these teams. They're both offenses are fun to watch. Mike Leach is great. Oregon's good. This could be an upset. Oregon better watch out because everybody knows Mike Leach can put up points. I'll give the edge Oregon, and I think this will be really, this might be like 56-49. At least if Oregon wants to win, they better be putting up about 50 on this team. All right, and then the final, the nightcap 10:30 game, Mountain West, San Diego State and UNLV. San Diego State beat San Jose State 27-17. Ryan Agnew, only 88 passing yards, ran for 44. They did run for 260 yards as a team. They only got 272, and they had a kick return for a touchdown, whereas UNLV lost to Fresno 56-27. Kenyon Obla wasn't bad. 16-34 isn't very good, but 257 passing, 3 touchdown passes is good. However, he did throw 3 interceptions. Noah Bean, 2 catches, 105 and a touchdown. They put up 414 yards, so they are able to move it, and they have been most of the season, but they had 5 turnovers in that game. San Diego State, really tough defense, good at forcing turnovers, good running game. I'm going to go San Diego State here. All right, those are my primetime picks and previews. Check out everything else I have. Peace.